killing for their organs. It may sound hard to believe, but experts and lawmakers are pointing to mounting evidence that the Chinese Communist Party is indeed committing a crime against humanity. But why isn't it more widely known?
My scalp finds its way cutting his skin. Blood can be seen. It implies that his heart was still pumping blood, and his body was struggling. He was alive.
That's Chinese surgeon Enver Tohti recalling to lawmakers his former role in China's lucrative practice of harvesting organs from prisoners of conscience.
Thus, we see religious dissidents targeted for harvesting. First and foremost, the Falun Gong.
A House panel on Thursday examined evidence pointing to a large-scale state-sanctioned practice of forced organ harvesting in China. Matthew Robertson, who co-authored a recent research report, said his team analyzed hundreds of Chinese medical papers and found 71 cases in which organs were removed from living donors.
The papers appear to show that the donors, who were prisoners, were alive at the time of the surgery and were killed by the transplant surgeons in the process of heart extraction.
And the unusually short waiting time for organ transplants in China points to the same conclusion.
Waiting times were advertised in weeks and days, suggesting that a pool of blood-type donors was available for execution and organ harvesting on demand.
Beijing claimed that their organs come from voluntary donors. But a London-based People's Tribunal in 2019 concluded that China continues to forcibly harvest organs on a large scale, with Falun Gong practitioners being the main target.
And we tested both the factual evidence and then the legal factual conclusions on the strictest basis, proof beyond reasonable doubt.
However,
this terrible, terrible abuse. Why the silence?
A former Assistant Secretary of State said Beijing is using its economic influence to force many to stay silent, even within the U.S. government.
But our intelligence community needs to be all over this, and they're not. And it's politically incorrect to raise these questions. There's way too much money involved.
Meanwhile, lawmakers are pushing to pass bipartisan legislation to stop forced organ harvesting in China.
And much more needs to be done, and the fight must go on.
The bill would sanction those taking part in organ harvesting and require the Department of State to report on those practices.